Good evening. We are up to episode 31 in our Let's Play series of Space Engineers, version 1.190.1 in survival mode. Last episode we were drilling magnesium. At the start of this episode now, we have magnesium. And I'm getting some lag here. Excuse me one second. Your own time game. I think we're about ready for a restart here. Come on. Oh, game. There we go. Alright, so yeah, as I said, we've got uranium, or not uranium, we had uranium. We've got magnesium now. And we've also got this large cargo container. So we've got quite a bit of magnesium, and it's all in there. We still got a little bit of uranium left outside of the refineries. There's still a decent amount here in the refinery. I can probably fit the rest of this in now because it's been running for a minute. Yep. And then our small reactor has 183 ingots in it, so that's pretty cool. Our small reactors have 12 and 12.6 each and climbing. So those are gradually refilling as they're sitting here. Um, I don't know what the share is, how it decides where to stick what. It looks like it's putting in all three of them in at least some proportion, so that's cool. I'm fine with that. But yeah, so we got 24,000 kilograms of magnesium ore. We got 14,000 kilograms of ice and a bunch of this other stuff. We've also got some leftover thruster components from our earlier salvage operations. But our focus right this second is going to be on getting some magnesium. First thing I want to do is, again, test the yield. We've been refining cobalt. I'm going to move that back out. And move the ingots out too. That should be enough to hold us for a while anyway. So 100 magnesium ore. Refines down pretty quick. And results in 1.4. So this is a 0.7% yield by default. Because again, we're getting double. So magnesium so far is the worst yield, but that's okay because most of the components that you will make that require magnesium don't require a whole lot. So we'll go ahead and throw the rest of that in there, at least as much as we can fit, because why not? But yeah, in terms of magnesium required for the explosives here, we need 0.67 for the handheld rifle magazines. We need 0.05 for the Gatling gun ammo. We need 1 even, so that's the highest one so far. We need 0.4 for the missile containers. So what we're going to make is, I think I'm going to start just with 10 of these because we have no ammo at all for ourselves. So I'm going to start with 10 of those, and then I'm going to do, I guess, 20 of those. We won't be able to fit a whole lot in our Gatling guns that we have on the ship now, but I want to have some extras. And then after that, I am going to do 100 of the personal magazines, and those will just sit in storage here. I'm not actually going to carry those. I'll carry the 10 just so that I'm able to shoot things if an emergency arises. But the rest of them will be kind of here as backup to replace that as we use it. So stick that here, and it jumped ahead in the line a little bit because it didn't have the other components, I guess. That should be enough to fill one of these, because these will only hold 4 in total. Other 2 Gatling guns, because instead of keeping those, now that we are able to produce this ammunition in quantities, I'm actually going to replace these entirely. Because I don't really like how far they stick out to start with. Oh, the lag! Yeah, I don't like how far they stick out, so I'm going to take this stuff off. This will make it a little bit easier to drill for things. And instead, where are the meteors coming in from? Over in this word-ish direction. Where's the sun? There it is. Yep, those are way down there. I'm not worried about it. Instead of those rear-facing Gatling guns, I'm actually going to attach some automated turrets. And I figured out a little bit earlier where exactly I wanted to put these, but I don't remember precisely where that was now. So we'll just work that out again. The camera's in the way. See if there's anywhere else I can put a camera. Because the camera is important. It helps us with the docking. But it can't be attached there. Well, one thing we could do... No, I can't access that either. I can't attach anything to that. Can't attach anything down lower either. I can there because it's a reactor, but I don't really want it on the side. I am definitely taking this stuff off because we're going to convert that into a large ship. And I don't think I'll be needing to carry the colonizer around at that point. So we'll go ahead and remove these things. I do want to continue playing with the remote control block. I've been watching some videos, and there's definitely some scripting possibilities as well as some other options for using the remote control for autopilot. So we'll play with that some more later, but for the time being, go ahead and take that off because it is not useful in its current situation. And I'm going to take this off just temporarily. And then turret. It will not quite fit there, I don't think. Yeah, it doesn't quite fit there, but that's okay because we actually want it down a little bit further anyway. And that means I need armor blocks. You know, the one I just took off. Is that enough? I might need another one. No, I don't need another one. Alright, so I'm going to stick that there. And then I'm going to put, do I have that on my bar already? No, I do not. A conveyor junction here. Because then it'll go straight across for one, and that's the immediate concern, is going straight across. But it'll also give us an attachment. Oh, that's camera's not quite gone off of there, I don't think. Is it? No, it's not. Okay. I ground it down but didn't quite grind it off. Stop lagging. I need you to know what you're doing here. I don't want to start grinding stuff that's important. Oh wow, game. There's a lesson here. And the lesson is to make sure that I have a clean restart before I start recording stuff, because this is a problem. I feel like I'm about ready for a new computer anyway. It's been a few years. I'm sure I can do better. Come on. There we go. Oh, I don't quite need to come straight across. I need to come down first. Do I want to put a junction in there anyway? I don't think I do. I can always change my mind later and replace it, but I'm just going to do a curved tube. So do a curved tube here, and the main point here is just to get this connected. I'm pretty sure that ammo can squeeze through the small conveyor ports. I mean, otherwise there wouldn't be small conveyor ports on here, I think. So that's my theory, and hopefully that will pan out. So now that one is connected. Let's go ahead and weld this stuff up. I think I'm going to need... No, I don't need interior plates because I pulled them off something. We need some bits for this though. So I need one more metal grid, a bunch of construction components. All right, how many do I need? I need 14, 19 construction components. What am I missing? Apparently missing a bunch of stuff. Why are you not able to do that? Oh, it is. It's just confused. Alright, whatever. Okay, so I said 19 construction components. One metal grid. 3 computers. And then I want to put the camera back. Now we'll be a little bit lower, and I think that might even be better. How is this oriented? I think I want it like that. Yeah, like that, because I can see the camera marking now. Okay. I need computers. Now, this is pretty cool. I like these turrets. So, first of all, I need to reset the camera. And it is camera 3, is what it's called at the moment. I need to rename that. I can remove the merge block because we're not using that anymore. I'm going to move this. And this is the colonizer batteries. Toggle discharge mode. No, it's not going to let me do it. I have to move this first. Okay. Toggle discharge mode. So this is, I set this up so that we could use the batteries on the colonizer to recharge something. I don't really use it. I haven't really at this point up to now, but it's an option. It's there. So we removed the aft facing guns. And instead of that, I want to use or set up the there it is, Gatling turret. And we'll do the on off. It's going to be that one. And what else do we want on here? I think just control. And this is a really cool thing. I kind of enjoy this. So we can actually aim it around. This is honestly somewhat more useful than the camera. Might end up, having a kind of a combination of both. Like we got the camera to look directly down, and then we can spin the turret around to see what we're actually looking at. So anyway, yeah, I think that's kind of cool. Let's see inventory, see if it's loaded. Gatling turret. As opposed to Gatling gun. Okay, so there's a Gatling gun and there's the Gatling turret, and it's the Gatling turret that we're looking at. Cool. And it did pull some in, but we're going to go ahead and load it up the rest of the way. So we can hold 5 cases of ammunition in each Gatling turret. And we've got one on the ventral side now, the bottom. And the reason why I wanted a junction down here is because I also want to bring it up and around and have one on the top. And I think that that is a reason why I do actually want a junction here. Because if I use a junction here instead of a tube, I can bring it up from here instead of bringing it up from here. And that's less tube and less potential for stuff to get destroyed and whatnot. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this back off. And I'm going to replace it with a junction. And I'm going to be short 3 construction components. Why did I get hurt? Whatever. Oh, I actually need to, pick those up too. Alright, I think I'm not quite out of interior plates, but almost. And I'm going to need more. Because you need interior plates to actually place the conveyor tubes. 10 should be enough to get us started at least. Figure out if we need more. Alright. So now on this one, we need to start by coming straight out. And straight out more. And then we need to curve up. Now I'm going to figure out where I can actually place this before I continue, because I want to make sure that it goes to the right spot. Alright, so that's not going to work. And even if we build it up, it'll be right on top of the thruster, so that's not a good idea. If we go ahead and place it right here. Now I want it here. Because if I put it here, then I can bring this around the front here and bring it in the middle. But to do that, I need an armor block here because I've got a spotlight there to attach to, but I've got nothing here. So that will now fit in quite nicely there. And I think that actually has it lined up with the one on the bottom. Yeah, looks like it. So then we need to come we can go ahead and curve here. Like that. Actually, no. No, I don't want to do that because now I'm going to be blocking the light. So I do want to come up. Or do I want to just move the light? We'll just come up for now. Can always change it later. Junction there. So that's one side. I am going to want to do both sides, but we'll go ahead and do what we can here so far. So we're going to need a bunch of stuff. Motors and construction components. So we need 2 interior plates, and then we need 1 motor and 1 construction component each here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 motors, 9 construction components, 13 construction components, 10 motors, 10 motors, 13 construction components, and 2 more interior plates. And apparently I miscounted the motors. And the construction components. I just miscounted the number 2 that I had. Alright, so now we got conveyor tube that comes up and around to there. I'm not sure how that's gonna excuse me, I'm not sure how that's gonna work out with the light. We might want to / need to move that. I am going to do a redundant conveyor tube around here, both for symmetry purposes and because it'll look better. I'm not in as big a hurry to do that. So we need a bunch of stuff. We need 9 steel plates and 30 construction components. We need 5 metal grids, 4 motors, and 10 computers. Oh, I'm accessing remotely. No wonder I can't pull it out. I know how to play this game. Oh, the lag. Wow. I apologize for that. Hold on. That's not everything. Why do I only have 2 metal grids? I said 5. I'm sure I queued up 5. Must have been lagging through that. There we go. Alright. So now, control panel, Gatling turrets. This is going to be Gatling turret number 1. We'll select both of these. Aiming radius. Apparently that is the maximum. Idle movement's fine. Target missiles too, why not? Small ships, large ships, characters, stations, not going to shoot neutrals. So those are all fine. I did want to turn on the missiles though. And then I want to put these into a group. And I don't think I need to control these independently. I mean, I'll certainly want to do that from the hotbar, but I don't think I need to do it from the control panel. So now instead of this one here, which is to toggle the block on and off, I want to do the whole group. And then this one will be turret 1, and then where did the other one go? Whatever, okay. Control. So now 6 should be on the bottom. And 7 should be on the top. Perfect. And I'm actually going to go ahead, I think, then, and remove this fin with this extra camera up here on the top. Because we've got a camera on the turret, we don't really need to have one here too. Alright. So now I'm not a huge fan of how much that sticks out in the top and the bottom, but that really is the best place for it. I'm pretty sure. But now we've got full 360-degree coverage out to 600 meters. And I'm going to keep these 2 on the front here just so that we can directly control those from the cockpit and fly and maneuver at the same time, because when you're controlling these you can't maneuver because the controls are, you know, for the turrets rather than for the ship. So I do want to have the ability to maneuver and shoot, as well as having these engage automatically, and then we can control them and control them manually if we want to. But I don't know how many circumstances we'll really need to do that in. So I can remove this. I want to rearrange this at all now. No, I don't think I do. I'll go ahead and turn these off for now. Are there any other controls that I want to make use of with these? Toggle, HUD, shoot, idle movement, meteors. No, I think I'm good. I'll just leave the gap there, that's fine. Alright, so those are off. I want to make sure that they're all loaded. So, how big are these things? $16. That's awkward that they don't divide evenly into the turrets they're designed for. Whatever. I guess they go evenly into the Gatling guns. Okay. Do I want to carry some spare ammunition? How much room does this take up? Yeah, I'm going to stick these in the cockpit. Just so we have a little bit of extra ammo. And then I'm also going to queue up production of another, hell with it, 100. Better to have it, not need it, than need it and not have it. Let's see how our magnesium's going while I'm at it. 146, 79, or 7.9 thousand there. Got some more ore down in here. Go ahead and stick the rest of that in. Queue up the cobalt behind it. And stick these bits back in cargo because we don't need to carry them. How are we on ice? If I can spell it. Okay, those two are full. That's what I'm worried about. And then we've got extra there, so that's fine. So, defensive upgrades. Should I go ahead and do that? Nah, I'm going to do the other side of this off camera because that's not particularly interesting. It's building a conveyor tube. You've seen me do it once. You're satisfied. Especially because I'm having so many lag issues right now. I don't really want to extend this longer than I have to. So I am going to cut the episode here. I forgot to start my clock again, of course, so I don't know exactly how long we're running right now. But I did the defensive upgrades with the magnesium that we mined at the end of the last episode. Looks like we are a little short on hydrogen there. So, okay, I'm going to do that. That is on 5. Turn our generators on. And now it's full. Generators back off. Alright, now that's full. So yeah, we got the defensive upgrades. But those are both turned off now because we're not worried about engaging any enemies. When we're flying around, especially since those salvage drones tend to sneak up on me, I'll probably fly around with them turned on. What is their... Doesn't tell me what their power consumption is when they're idling, so I don't know. But, like I said, it's not super important. I know we have the power to handle it. If we need to, we can always turn these batteries on, and then we've got tons of power spare. But yeah, so we'll fly around with these turned on just so nothing sneaks up on us. But especially where we're parked here, certainly we can turn them off. We got magnesium. We've got a decent amount of nuclear power going. We've got some cargo space up here. I think something that I want to do, and we can do some of this stuff next episode, I think. We definitely want to get the speed upgrades on here. I think I do want to go ahead and build a backup reactor, or just a second reactor, whatever you want to call it, because we are going to eventually want to have plenty of power capacity on here. So I want to move the connector up here and attach another reactor to the conveyor port there, and then I'll go ahead and run some tubing between them, just for the sake of redundancy again, because there's already a tube between there. so I don't really need to, but I can run a tube like along the line here where the upgrades are, so I don't block the upgrade for the assembler or on the front side either way. Um, I don't know. I might not do the connection, at least not immediately, but I will at least, reorient the reactor here so that it can accommodate it and so that I can keep everything symmetrical. Because symmetry is good. Excuse me. We want another battery here at some point. We want another cargo container here at some point. That will not line up with the conveyor port there, but it'll line up with the conveyor port here, so it will still be connected. Um, and then we'll either put connectors on here, or we might actually put hydrogen tanks on here. Alternatively, I could put the hydrogen tanks on the sides, and that would work as well, because the hydrogen tanks, the large hydrogen tanks, do have side access ports. Um, Once we have hydrogen tanks, we will eventually at some point want O2H2 generators. We'll need a lot of ice to get all that stuff full. We also will want to keep an ice reserve so that we can refill our colonizer with it. And I mentioned I was going to do some scripting stuff. So what I think I'm going to do, what I'm going to focus on, at least in the next episode, is shifting some of these bits around because that's not going to take us very long. So I'll get the other cargo container on, put the connectors on the end of the cargo container, and that's how I'll do it for now. Is just like that, and then we'll work on some scripting because I want to at least get some status indicators on here and activate this center LCD with something useful instead of an artificial horizon in space. And whatever that does in space, I don't find that to be useful anyway. I've got an artificial horizon in the bottom right if that's what I need. So yeah, we're gonna do scripts next episode after I get the little changes I just mentioned on the industrial complex done. Um, and that's going to be focused on the status of the colonizer specifically. It's going to, restrict itself from accessing blocks on other subgrids, um, or other grids rather. I don't want to say subgrids because if we got a piston or rotor on here at some point, I do want to include that, but that doesn't apply at the moment. Um, so I'll want it to keep oxygen in the H2 generators turned on, and you don't have any oxygen tanks. So we'll want to keep track of that. We'll want to keep track of how much hydrogen we have altogether. We'll want to keep track of how much uranium we have. We'll want to keep track of how much battery charge we have. So those are the three items, or the three or four items I'm thinking of in particular. We'll also want to keep track of cargo capacity. So those are going to be the priorities for the next episode. Um, is getting that redesign done and getting that script at least started. Depending on how long it takes and how many times I screw up, we may actually slow that down and spread that out over an episode or two. But my intention at this point, anyway, is to get that all done in one shot because it should be relatively straightforward, relatively simple. But we'll see. So, anyway, thanks very much for watching. I appreciate it. Subscribe to see what happens next. Likes, comments, and verbal abuse are welcome. And we'll see you next time. Thanks.